You're watching Life on Video.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life on Video. Today, we're in Oahu, Hawaii, and I'm going to show you some of the top places that I think you should visit next time you're in Hawaii. Let's check it out. Kicking off my list of places you should visit in Oahu is going to be the Honolulu Zoo. One would think that because this zoo is situated on an island that it would actually be pretty tiny. Contrary to belief, this zoo is actually quite large. And one of the nice things about this zoo is because it's in Hawaii, you actually get a view at different types of wildlife that you don't commonly see in the rest of America. I thoroughly enjoyed watching these Asian elephants roam around their habitat. And speaking of habitats, they were all beautiful, picturesque, and very plentiful for being on an island. There were also some reptiles there as well, with your snakes and your alligators, but they did have this crazy amphibian there. They had giant salamanders, which was kind of mind-boggling. And like any good zoo, you'll exit out through the gift shop where you can pick up a few cool gifts. And this Honolulu Zoo definitely makes my list of places to visit in Oahu. Next up is the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum. When you first walk into this museum, there is a cost. So you'll pay the admission fee and you'll walk in. You'll be offered a headset upon arrival, and this will allow you to select a specific language if you'd like to, or to hear the exhibits read out to you when you roll up on them, just like at any other museum. You're going to continue your travels down through the end of this hallway, and once you get to the end of the hallway, you're in the main exhibit. On your right-hand side, you're going to run into a Zero fighter. And then throughout this exhibit, you're going to see lots of battle-damaged aircraft and all the different types of military machinery that were employed during Pearl Harbor. Once you make it through this main exhibit, you're going to make your way outside. There are a lot of aircraft just sprinkled through outside that you can go and take a look, you can get up close and personal with, and if you're a fan of aviation, I bet you'll find one of your favorites. Once you venture past this open area, you're going to come across a hangar. This hangar, as you can see here, is a part of history. There are bullet holes all throughout the glass that they left there. There's a whole story that goes along with that. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. It's an amazing story. In this hangar, you're going to find a decommissioned Blue Angel, F-18. And right here, you have an F-14 Tomcat. The Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum definitely hits my list of places to visit while in Oahu. And it wouldn't be a trip to Oahu unless you visited the Pearl Harbor National Memorial. This is a huge part of American history. This place is full of relics from Pearl Harbor and World War II. The scenery is absolutely beautiful, and Hawaii has done nothing but justice to these heroes that have lost their lives at Pearl Harbor. Off in the distance in this shot, you can see the Uss Arizona Memorial rested atop of the sunken USS Arizona. You can also see the USS Missouri out there as well. The amount of love and details that's actually placed into Pearl Harbor is nothing short of amazing. They've really done a great job at honoring everybody. Just look at how beautiful this park is. And yes, it's actually free to come into the park. But be advised, the parking in the parking lot is pretty tough to acquire, so you'll want to get there when it opens for sure. They have a few museums that you're able to walk through included in your free admission that details the different events that took place during Pearl Harbor. What you're seeing here is an aerial view of the USS Arizona Memorial, which is an amazing model. And then here you see things detailed out like the Japanese movement on Pearl Harbor the day of. It's quite breathtaking, the amount of history that's in this building, the amount of artifacts that are in this building, and the amount of untold stories that are actually told within these buildings. This is me here walking up the bridge to the USS Bowfin Submarine Museum. As you can see, we're still at Pearl Harbor because this is the USS Arizona and the USS Missouri off in the distance. The USS Beaufin Submarine Museum is a cost to get in. Though I said Pearl Harbor is free, coming to this museum actually does bear a cost. One of the awesome things about this museum is you do get to go inside the USS Bowfin submarine. So you get to see what life is like in a World War II era submarine with your torpedo tubes on the front, your torpedo tubes on the back, your different living quarters that they have for the officers and for the enlisted people, and then all of the different control rooms that are all within this tiny submarine. This museum allows you to definitely give appreciation to what these guys did day in and day out. For example, just climbing through these tunnels as a 6'4" male is extremely tough and not something I think I'd be willing to do on a daily basis unless I absolutely had to. All the historians and workers here at the USS Beaufin Museum have done an amazing job at restoring this submarine to its original glory. Everything was beautiful, it was polished, it was clean, it was replaced if it was broken. It definitely has really good brand new submarine vibes. Even though we know this was employed during World War II and it's a used and lived in submarine, they've done a great job at restoring it. Once you're done below deck, you will resurface at the bow of the submarine. You'll come out, again, USS Arizona, USS Missouri, both memorials over there, and you get to come across the top of the deck and you get to see all of the different guns, the different sights, all of the different types of weaponry that were on the USS Beaufin and actually employed during World War II. There's an amazing food truck too at the Submarine Museum. I got this pulled Kahlua pork Hawaiian tacos, amazing. Then I headed over to the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum, which is all included in this admission, and you get to see all of the enemy and allied submarines that were employed during World War II. Overall, Pearl Harbor makes my list of places to visit in Oahu for sure. Next up on the list is the Dole Plantation. If you've ever wanted to know where pineapples come from or taste the freshest pineapple in the world, this is your spot. Initially walking through the doors of the Dole Plantation, you are met with this enormous gift shop. This gift shop is full of tons of obviously pineapple gifts, novelty gifts, pineapple candy, but you also run into things like Hawaiian and pineapple coffee. They have tons of different pineapple variations of food that you can get. You want a pineapple burger? They've got them here. You want pineapple flavored anything? They've got it here. But the one thing they have that everybody loves is Dole Whip. Yes, they have pineapple Dole Whip and you can get it in so many different varieties here. They also have a lot of authentic Hawaiian vendors inside. So if you're looking for Hawaiian jewelry, Hawaiian paintings, Hawaiian clothing, you can get it in here and it's sold by the locals from official sources. Right here they have where you can watch one of their workers prepare pineapple, showing you how fresh it is and how they actually prepare it, pulling it straight from the plant. Just like you see right here, this is an actual pineapple growing on a plant outside. I chose to go with the chocolate dipped Dole Whip and man, it was just on point. There are 3 exhibits outside that you can pay to experience. There's a historic train ride that goes through the entire plantation. There's this garden walk that shows you a lot of native Hawaiian plants. This pineapple garden maze, which is the recognized 2008 Guinness World Record largest maze in the world. This awesome experience of the Dole Plantation is why it's on my list of must visits while in Oahu. Next up on my list is the Waimea Valley. This is a great place to come experience some Hawaiian culture as well as the Hawaiian nature. For a small fee, you get access to a paved path that leads you straight back to the Waimea Falls. The path all in all is about 1.25 miles if you include the trip out and trip back. Along the way, you do get to see some of these naturally built Hawaiian huts that they've preserved in their natural form, showing you the culture on your way out to the Waimea Falls. There were stories to go along and explain each one of these huts. Some people were actually using the huts for a picnic area. Then some of the huts were just open and off in the distance, left alone. One thing you can't get over in the Waimea Village is the beautiful nature scenery. Man, it is absolutely breathtaking when you take a look at this place. After you trek down, you make it to the Waimea Falls, which is this right here. And man, just another great scene to behold. So this is definitely not your off the beaten path waterfall, as you can see. It's beautiful, but there's a ton of people down there, and you have to get a life jacket before you go in. They have lifeguards down there, there's no jumping. But if you're in Hawaii and you want to see a waterfall and you want to make it quick, it was about 10-minute hike down here, and it's all on a paved path, so it's really not that far all the way. And then you can see a waterfall. At the waterfall, you get access to lockers, food, and changing rooms. Waimea Valley is a quick way to experience some Hawaiian culture and is definitely a must-do when in Oahu. Next up on the list is Waikiki. I was fortunate enough to be staying at a resort in Waikiki, so I didn't have to go far to find Waikiki. I was already there, but I was here at the Outrigger Reef Waikiki Beach, and this resort was awesome. It was basically an open concept where the back of it just opens up to the beach. It was beautiful. There was so much to do on the beach. There were multiple resorts on the beach. There were food stops on the beach. There were places to get drinks on the beach. It was definitely a great spot to be staying at for sure. The front side of my resort actually opened up pretty much to downtown Waikiki. And this is kind of the picture you get to see all the time in Waikiki. Lots of palm trees, lots of shopping, tons of different types of food. You have Korean food, you have Hawaiian food, you have American food, you also have Japanese food as well. This right here is Chef Morimoto's restaurant, where we got a nice bowl of ramen, some spicy popcorn shrimp, and a nice drink to go along with it. The bakery, the pastries, man, Waikiki is definitely a must-do when you're in Oahu for sure. This brings me to my last suggestion while you're in Oahu, the Koko Crater Hike, or otherwise known as the 1,000 Stair Hike. This is an amazing experience in Oahu. I saw some 10-year-olds at the top, and I also saw people in their 60s and 70s at the top, so anybody can do it. You just need a little bit of cardiovascular training and you'll be good. Now, you just gotta be warned, you're gonna come to a couple spots that are a little dangerous, like these spots right here that have nothing underneath the railroad ties. Just know there are paths to the right of them where you can bypass this section and get back on the main trail. Yo, I just did that bridge. I had to put my hands down one time. It is tough. That's kind of more mental than anything. But whew, it's exhilarating, to be honest. Definitely not for the faint of heart. But if you got it in you, push it. Just always be safe, baby. Let's get it. Now this is a view from the halfway point, then I made it to the top. Yo, that might be one of the most physically challenging things I've had to push through in a long time. Oh man. But the views, check it. Ooh wee. I gotta be honest, these views were absolutely worth every single stair, every single step on the way up. Though it was tough, so worth it. It's like straight down. Whew. That's it, baby. We made Koko Crater Hike, also known as the 1,000 Stair Hike. I'm drenched. I'm empty. Yeah, I need to recharge. That was a top-notch experience in Oahu, here in Hawaii. And that's why it makes my list of places you must visit when in Oahu. And that completes the list. If I missed your favorites or you've been to these, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content here on Life on Video. Later.